Welcome to the Young CEOs Mastermind Call. This is your host. My name is Andre Kennedy, aka Free Play Dre. We host these calls usually every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We usually go over valuable information regarding credit, real estate, rental cars, pretty much all of the things that's going to help you run up a bag as a young CEO. Now, really briefly, I just wanted to tell you guys we do have a credit community. We help you guys build, fix, and leverage your credit to be able to make money. As you can see, I am a credit hero. We do have a credit repair software that enables you to be able to dispute your negative items very easily. We have a streamlined process. All you do is fill out, answer multiple choice questions. We submit, print your dispute, stamp it, mail it, send it off to the credit bureaus. Usually that's round 1, 2, 3. And sometimes we have to go to round 4. And as you guys know, if you're in the credit repair space, the catch all end all is CFPB. Now, with that being said, that's just a brief overview of what we do here at the Young CEOs community. As you can see, the website is posted there. It's going to be dazzlu.com for you to be able to join. Now, today's video specifically is going to be on buying your first rental property. Okay. And I'm just going to be transparent here. Over the past few years, myself, I have purchased 2 rental properties here in my local area. And I actually purchased a 3rd property this past September. And I want to give you guys more insight on how I was able to do that. But just for the sake of letting you guys get a sneak peek, I was able to buy that property for only $6,500. So me and a partner split that down the middle, and I actually came out of pocket only $3,250. He came out $3,250, and we split. And now we're in the process of renovating the property and getting it listed or renting it out. Okay, so that is what we are in the process of doing right now. But I want to summarize and teach you guys how I was able to do this. Okay, so it requires a series of steps, and I'm going to be sharing my screen so you guys can follow along with me, but I'm going to walk you through how I was able to do this. Okay, now, as you guys know, credit is major. Okay, now when you're buying a property normally, right, you can go FHA, you can go conventional, right? That's when you're actually purchasing a property using a mortgage loan product. Okay, but as your first property, we're looking for something cheap, right? And you guys heard I bought that property for $6,500. So we want to show you exactly how we were able to do that so that you can get started in your first rental property for a very low entry barrier. Okay. Now, not every market is going to be the same. So I will say that as a disclaimer. And also, as my video disclaimer, this video is going to be for educational purposes only. Okay. So now, what I want to tell you guys is this: you will need credit in order to secure a property. Okay. Now, the reason why I say that is because credit is one of the quickest ways to stack up some money. Okay. Using the bank's money to leverage to be able to buy real estate. Okay. Now, how we're able to do that, I built a course. I teach you guys step by step from ground zero how to leverage a banking system, application system, where you can run up from zero credit all the way up to $150,000 worth of credit capital. I know because I did this myself. I utilize different banks, and I know different secrets, tips, strategies in order to maximize how much funding you can actually get when you're going to apply for credit cards and loan products from these banks. Okay. Obviously, you're going to have good personal credit. We also teach you guys business credit, right? Out of that $150,000 worth of capital, some of that is business credit. Okay. So I teach you guys how to run that up. It's all within my course at dazzlu.com. So you guys can check that out. Simplified the process for you. I made it very streamlined. It even goes into credit repair in the course. Okay, so that's enough about that. you're going to need credit funding in order to have some capital to be able to invest, right? To pull that $6,500 from somewhere, right? And you can pull that from your credit card. So, first of all, you're going to have to do that. Obviously, it starts with 0% interest, business credit. Okay, that's what we're going to want to use to buy these properties, not high interest credit cards and such things like that. Okay, so if you're not really understanding exactly the whole credit game, make sure you guys are getting my course, walk through the process, and go ahead and get your funding. Okay. By the end of my course, you should have over $100,000 worth of funding. Now, you can buy multiple properties with that, and it does take time. This does not happen overnight, obviously. Okay. Now, what I want to tell you guys is this: you will want to do this. What I'm going to show you here, I'm going to share my screen. We're going to go to Google, where all great things start, right? Where the rabbit hole starts. Okay. Now, hopefully, you guys can see my screen. I want to walk you guys through how I'm able to buy properties at very cheap prices. Okay, and this is going to be actionable steps, and this is why I'm sharing my screen so I can walk you guys through this on how you're going to buy your first property. Okay, hopefully your area is similar, price wise, and just how they operate. Every county is going to be different. So what you're going to want to do is search your local county tax office. Okay, so what we're going to be looking for is tax lien properties. Okay. So what happens here is basically when you purchase a house, right, you are responsible for paying the taxes on that property. A lot of times, if you're getting a mortgage loan like a FHA or a conventional loan, these taxes are lump summed in your loan. Okay, so you don't really miss payments on your taxes because it's lump sum in your loan and they actually pay it for you. Okay, so that you don't lose the property. Now, when it comes to somebody that's just a homeowner, they're not financing the property. A lot of times they can fall behind on their taxes, okay, for whatever reason. Now, what happens is they get behind about 2 years, okay, and let's see, what is the maximum years you can be late on taxes before your property is listed on the tax lien list? Okay. So every state's going to be different. In my state currently, it's actually 2 years. I thought they were going to be able to tell us here, but in my state, it's 2 years. Okay, so if you're 2 years behind on your taxes, your house will be sold at auction the following year. Okay, now for every county, it's different. My county holds tax sales once per year, and usually it's in September. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and type in the Westmoreland County tax sale list. Now, what you're going to want to do is know what county you're in, and you're going to type in your tax sale list. Okay. And usually it's the first one or two websites. As you can see, it's westmorelandcountypa.gov. So we're going to go ahead and click that annual upset tax sale. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for those tax lien properties. Okay. Now you can see here, once per year, this sale is held. Okay. Monday, September 9th. 2024, 10 a.m. Okay, this is where I bought my property for $6,500 at this tax sale, Monday, September 9th, 2024, 10 a.m. Okay, obviously, we're past that date right now, so we wouldn't be able to buy any properties at this point in time. We would have to wait till the following year, 2025, and they're going to upload a new tax sale list. Okay, and we'll be able to go in and view those properties. Okay, now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to kind of go through how I was able to purchase that. Now, on this left-hand side here, every website, every county website is going to be a little different, right? But I'm going to show you how I operate and how I'm able to grab these properties for very cheap. Okay, so Obviously, in order to go to any auction, you will have to register. Okay. You're going to have to register. It costs about $25 to register. And then they'll give you your paper so that you can raise it whenever you're ready to bid within that auction, within the midst of that auction, right? If you've never been to an auction, definitely reach out to me. If you're a student of mine, I take students with me to the auction, and I usher them through the process if they're looking to buy homes. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely join the Dazzlu.com Young CEO community. Okay. Now, tax lien list. Okay. There's different sales. There's judicial, there's the repository list, there's the repository sale procedure. Okay. That's just how it goes about. And what we want to do is the annual upset tax sale. Okay, it's going to go over the rules. Now, usually your list would be somewhere in here. Like I said, ours is already over. So let's just look at the judicial sales. Let's look at the judicial sales. No, I'm sorry. Let's look at the repository list. Okay, so we want to pull a list. Now, the repository list is a little different than a tax lien list. Okay, but we want to go ahead and look at this. So we're going to view the repository list. And this is the same kind of procedure that you would go through if you're looking at tax lien properties. Okay, you would look at your tax lien list, which would also be located on this website. But for the sake of this video, we're going to look at the repository list. These are also cheap properties. And once you get into your local county list, you're going to see a bunch of numbers and property. Okay. Now, what we want to look at here, okay, obviously we have map numbers. With every property, there's a map number. That's how they're going to transfer title. This is the map number that's associated with each individual property. Okay. Very important to note. Now, what we really want to know is these property addresses. Okay. We want to know these property addresses. And also on the tax lien list, it's going to show you how much they actually owe in back taxes. Okay. This is a completely different list, but I want to this is similar to what you'll see when you're dealing with tax lien property. Okay. And we'll update this video a little bit down the road where we can actually show you tax lien properties that I'll be investing into for next year. But right now, we have to look at the repository list because the tax lien list is not available to us because it was already done and sold. Okay. Properties that were on there were already sold at auction. Now, what I want to show you guys here is you'll be able to find the property addresses. Okay, so here you can see a property address. Here you can see a property address. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one here. Okay, so we're just going to copy it. Okay, and we're going to pull up another screen, another tab, and we're going to go to Google, and we're going to go to our Google Maps. Okay, Google Maps. All right, we're going to go to Google Maps. And since we have that address copied, we're just going to paste it in our Google Maps, right? Okay. I'm going to hit enter. Okay. So this one here isn't giving us a direct address. So let's go ahead and go back to the repository list. Let's try this one here. 1411 4th Ave. Okay, so we're going to copy that. I'm going to go back to Google. We're going to paste this here and we're going to hit enter. Okay. And this is okay. So now you guys can see, kind of where we're going here. Okay. On Google Maps, usually we can see a street view. Okay. So this is kind of going to give us a general idea of where the property is, the surroundings, okay? And we can kind of get a gauge on where we might want to go and view this property, right? As you can see, okay? And a lot of times you'll be able to see kind of the side. You might even be able to go on Google Maps and get a roof evaluation. But what you're really going to want to do is drive. Okay, you're going to want to drive to this property. You're going to want to view the foundation of the property. You're going to want to view the roof. the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, right? These are all things that you're going to want to evaluate before, figuring out, what is your top dollar for bidding on this property, okay? Because this might be a house that you want to bid on, right? These properties here that are, grass is high, nobody's living here, hasn't been here for a long time, looks abandoned, right? A lot of these properties are gems, okay? So this would be a property that you could potentially pick up off of the tax lien, or for this sake, the repository list, okay? Now, very important keynote, okay? You will need to register for your local auction, okay? So you go back to your, local county website, and you can go to pre-registration or wherever your registration is located, and you can actually register. Like I said, $25 fee is required for filing an application to register. Okay, so you can register for your local tax lien list, and you can get pretty much an opportunity to bid on these properties, right? You're obviously going to want to make it there on September 9th or whatever date yours actually is. You're going to want to make it there at the said time and be able to be there to bid on these properties. Now, prior to bidding, obviously you're going to have to liquidate those credit cards, right? We talked about building your credit and using that credit to be able to leverage to buy these tax lien properties, okay? And you want to have, $150,000 worth of credit capital, the most amount that you can get, right? And if you're following along with my course, you should be able to get upwards of $100,000 worth of credit capital, okay? That's not only going to allow you to purchase the property, but it's also going to allow you to renovate certain things that you're going to need to renovate, right? If all of those things that are intact, the roof, the HVAC, electrical, plumbing, all that goes into effect, you're going to need to repair certain things, right? And you're going to need to have backup funds to be able to do that. That's where the credit cards come into play, right? You can go to your Lowe's, Home Depot, and you can grab your materials in order to leverage the credit card to be able to purchase the materials and fix up the property. So now you're bringing up that property's value, okay? You can wholesale these properties. You can, fix them up, rent them out, refinance them. You can sell them outright, right? There's a bunch of different outbound strategies that you can utilize to be able to exit these properties, okay? But I like to pretty much fix them up, rent them out, refinance on them. I'll pull the equity out of the property, and then I'll go and do it again, okay? Because whoever's renting that property is pretty much going to pay down the balance on the loan that I just took out on that property when I refinance. Okay, so the property will essentially pay for itself if we're doing this process correctly, right? We also want to take into account numbers, right? How much is it going to cost to renovate the property? Okay, we want to make estimates and see what actually work needs done. We need to get some quotes on what it's going to take to fix these properties up. Okay, so that's all prior due diligence that you need to do. You need to go to your local Lowe's. You need to look at materials. You need to get familiar with what things cost so that you know how much money you're going to be putting into this property in order to get it up and going. Okay. And, this is how we were able to do this. So the property that we acquired is actually an hour away from me, but my partner lives a lot closer, and he'll be the one that's fixing it up. And I'm buying materials and things like that to put into the property, right? Flooring, HVAC, right? We talked about all the things, right? I'm the one funding that because I have the credit capital to be able to do it. Okay, so this is basically a simple strategy for you to be able to utilize to be able to go and get these tax lien properties, right? So, like I said, every county is a little different. Your county might not be the same, but definitely go to Google, use your Google, look up your local county tax office sale, see when the date is for your local tax sale list, and make sure you're present, right? Make sure you have the capital so that you can purchase these properties. A lot of these properties are going for $5,000, $6,000. Okay. Very cheap, right? If you're looking on, Zillow and, other websites like that, truly, Zillow, you're looking at 50, 60, 80, 100,000, $200,000 property, right? In the same area. Okay. Right. This is another way we look at properties as well on Zillow. But there's so many out there, right? In your local area, you can filter this out, right? This is another way you can pick up properties a lot of times for cheap. Okay. You always want to keep an eye on your market. You want to be looking at what properties are selling for so that you know your comps, right? The comps. You want to know what these properties can actually sell for in that area, right? If you buy a property off of the tax lien list and a property down the road just sold for $190,000 and it was, 2 beds, 2 baths, the same type of make that your property is going to be 2 beds, 2 baths, or etc. You want to compare apples to apples, right? But if it just sold for 190,000, you can look at pictures and see how they renovated it, and you can bring your property up to that standard and get around the same price, right? If you're buying a property for 6 grand and you're able to sell it for 190,000, right? That's a big chunk of money. So pretty much I just taught you guys how to leverage your local county tax sale list, right? Register for the auction, right? Prior to registering for the auction, obviously you want to scope out the property. You can use Google Maps to view, the condition of the outside of the property, figure out where it is, figure out the layout of the county, right? Where is it close to? Is it close to any restaurants? Is it close to any schools? That makes it more convenient for whoever's going to be renting. Okay. And you basically want to go ahead and view the property, right? Drive over there, knock on the door, see if anybody's, plotting in the house or squatting in the house, right? See what the roof looks like, see what the foundation looks like. Go and view the property, right? A lot of times you can't go inside, right? You don't want to break and enter, right? But you can view the outside of the property. Now, if it is on the tax sale list, a lot of times these properties are open, okay? These properties are abandoned, right? So, a lot of times we'll go in them and we'll scope it out and we'll see, what the inside looks like. We'll see what condition is the electrical, the plumbing, the HVAC, the roof, right? We'll check all these things. And if the property checks out, we'll be at the auction with our registered bidding number and we'll bid on these properties. And because we have credit capital, we're able to acquire them. Okay. And then it's fixing it up, renting it out, pulling out the equity, right? It's called the BRRRR strategy. Buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then you repeat, right? Because now you pull out the equity. Now you have a lump sum of money that you can go and hit the next auction with, okay? Or make other investments, etc. But while that property is renting out, it's basically going to pay itself off, okay? So that's just a quick, brief overview of how we were able to buy a recent property for $6,500. We'll probably put about 5 to 10,000 into it as far as repairs. For me, I like to repair properties as cheap as possible, as long as it's going to pass the inspection and occupancy inspection, then it's going to be good to go, right? We'll get a renter in there and it'll pay itself off, right? 6,500, we'll make that back. We'll rent that property for $1,000 a month and make our money back in 6 months. Okay, you can't beat those kind of deals, right? And like I said, every market is not the same. Every market, you're not going to find properties for 6,500. Okay, some property, some markets, the lowest property you might find might be 50,000, right? That's why it's important to go ahead and acquire the funding needed to even go to these auctions and have cash on hand to be able to purchase these properties. You will need to put the money up front at the auction. So make sure you have liquidated those credit cards, right? Within my course, I teach you guys many different ways how you can go ahead and liquidate your credit cards to be able to have cash so that you can make transactions like this. Okay. And you can bring cash to the table to be able to purchase these houses. Okay. But that's how you're going to buy your first tax lien property. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them down in the comment section below. I know I went very quickly through this. So if you have any in-depth questions that I didn't cover, make sure you reach out to me and I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. Other than that, make sure you guys check out Dazzloo.com, Dazzloo, Dazzloo.com. That's how you're going to be able to get in partnership with us, right? I list properties, post properties in my community group chat, the Young CEOs, where we are able to kind of partner on different deals, right? Just like me and a partner have partnered on a deal, I offer that opportunity to you guys that are in my local community. And some of you guys might not even be in the local community, but you want to partner on an investment such as a real estate property. And I'd be more than welcome to bring you in on an investment as long as you follow the guidelines, build up your credit capital, you have the funds, it makes it easier on the both of us, and we go ahead and invest in the property. Okay. Fix them up, rent them out, refinance, repeat. So with that being said, very quick overview of how you're going to be able to buy your first property. Don't make this harder than what it has to be. Very simple process. Okay. And like I said, if you have any questions, make sure you reach out in our community group chat, and I'll see you inside the Young CEO community. We host these every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure you guys drop a like on the video if you got some value. Make sure you guys drop comments because I love to answer any questions that you have. All right. That being said, I'm out.